Hare Krishna, welcome you all for our e-Gurukula sessions. And today is a Tuesday. There is a story session. So we'll continue our Mahabharata stories, Mahabharata episodes. So that's something nice we can learn. So people have an idea. God means God should fit within their circle of morality, within their ideas of the life. Then he's a very good God. Like there was one famous politician, not to mention the name, but he said, if the God is the one who danced with the other men's wives, then I don't accept him as a God. But little do he know that what is meaning of the dance and what is meaning of the God. So people try to fit God in their circle of morality. Means we should be truthful. They want God also should be truthful. The God is lying, God is stealing something, and God is breaking certain laws, then they become very difficult for them to accept God. And on the reverse side also, it's become even more difficult. Something bad is happening in their life. Although God is, they are following the God, but something, a lot of bad things are coming in their life. Then how can God be there? Other things and all. So that's why we need to understand the holistic picture about the Supreme Lord, His nature, His dealings. And that's why Mahabharata plays a very interesting role. Srimad Bhagavatam also gives many insights about the Lord's dealings and nature. So let us, Mahabharata is a well-known epic. That's why we're studying bit by bit so that we can also understand and then make it very clear. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshtari Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurattvashe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So are you all, I'll just share the screen. You're able to see the book, reading from the book Mahabharata, the chapter 1, this by Krishna Dharma Prabhu, chapter 7, part 1, the Pandavas sent away. You all are able to see? Yeah. So let us read now. So last week we saw, what we saw, who remember? This is an entry question. There is one exit question there will be, and this is an entry question. What we saw last week, where we stopped, what was happening. Long ago. Anybody remember where we stopped? Yeah. Krishna ran away. No. They are in the Mahabharata book, bro. Not Krishna book. Today Tuesday, no? Mahabharata reading.
You said they are going for like the Shivratri in a village.
Yeah, what was the last exact ending? Vidura narrates the message. Huh?
Well, we do himself to Yudhishthir in like a kind of a property.
Cryptic language. Yeah, because Pandavas were sent to go to that Varnavat, where the Duryodhan had plotted with the help of Purochana to build that Lakshagraha, and then the house should be burned. So everybody was suspicious, and many people don't wanted to Pandava to go. They were so much attached to the Pandavas. But finally, Vidura, he understood from the inner people and in front of all how to tell. So he told in a very cryptic language. So that's what we see here. Yeah, here it has been mentioned. Once again, we'll read and then we'll start from there. When the Pandavas reached the edge of the city, Vidur met them. Vidur had learned of Duryodhana's scheme through his palace spies. He wanted to warn Yudhishthir without anyone else understanding his message. Going before the prince, who was still in the people's midst, he spoke to him in the language of the Mlechas tribes people. Speaking cryptically, Vidur said, "One who knows there are sharp weapons capable of cutting the body, although not made of metal, is not injured by them." Right? So we should know that that is a house, but it is not a house. You're going to get burnt. But if you know that, then you will not get burnt. So something like that. Let's see what is the decoding meaning. He survives who understands that the consumer of the wood and the straw does not reach the dwellers of a hole in the forest. Right? So consumer of a wood and a straw, that is the fire, does not reach the dwellers of the hole in the forest. Always stay alert. One who keeps his senses under control can never be overcome by any enemy. So let us see. Vidur spoke for some minutes, and Yudhishthir, who was versed in many languages, understood his meaning, although the message was not understandable by others. It takes one to know one. And there is a saying in English. Now. So Yudhishthir Raja was so much intelligent that he understood what Vidur is telling about. See, if you observe the world also now, whole world, Prakriti is loudly shouting about the existence of Supreme Lord. Manifestation of Supreme Lord's his energy in various loving ways for all of us. But jivas are so blunt, their intelligence is so dull. They say, where is a God? How can God exist? As if like rains are coming automatically, grains are growing automatically, sun and moon are under their control. Right? So if we just little bit observe using our intelligence, the world around, how is it functioning? What happens to the life? From where does the soul comes from? Who decides whether the boy will be there or the girl will be there, or the beautiful boy will be there or the ugly boy will be coming out? Right? So many things. Who will decide in the rich child or a poor child in rich home or a poor home? So easily one will come to understand there is some higher controller. There is some higher dimensional science. So that's why we have to be well versed with the philosophy, so that then we develop our Shastra Chakshu and then eventually Prema Chakshu. So Yudhishthir Raja was very well versed. So that's why he could understand Vidur's language. When Vidur finished, Yudhishthir replied, "I understand. That's all." Vidur smiled and then walked respectfully around the princes. Bidding them farewell, he left for his own house. right? So imagine if Vidur would have not been there, of course, somewhere other Pandavas would have been surely saved. But Vidur was loving uncle for them. He was there, right there for them to protect and guide. So we should also have some people who care for us, who love for us. So many things goes beyond our sight, beyond our notice, beyond our understanding. But then when we have people with us who are our well-wishers, who are our like Vidur was well-wisher even towards Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana also. So that means Lord is ready to send the good people for us. But it is our own behavior will decide to be with them or to not to be with them. Duryodhana was so blunt, he never took any good advice given by Vidur, or Dhritarashtra is another case also. So, but Yudhishthir and all, you see how their good character, good behavior, and Lord had already arranged many things, and Vidur and many good people also were time to time guarding them and protecting them. So that's why the good character, it's all about our own responsibility only. We cannot blame the problems around, show the finger outside. No, we have to check how is my behavior, how I am dealing. Then naturally good things will be able to learn and then go on and deal with the bad things in a very proper manner. See, imagine Yudhishthir, if he wanted, he would have immediately changed the plan. Nah? Okay, I think I have understood something else. I won't go. I just stay in the palace only. Right? And then again, it would have been created these things and also very thoughtfully. And then later we'll read how the Shok Shabha happens and things and all. And Yudhishthir never ever complains back also. So this is another thing, to make the people realize his own mistake. Rather than pointing out the mistake and blaming the person, making the people aware that how you have done a mistake. That makes person more reformed. So that's why it's a very brilliant behavior of the Pandavas, and especially headed by Yudhishthir. On the road to Varnavat, Kunti asked Yudhishthir what Vidur had said. Yudhishthir replied that Vidur had told him that their house in Varnavat would be burned down. He had also told the prince that the means of escape would be revealed to him. So the whole statement you understood, nah? Anybody notice that whole statement there? The dweller of the forest who is in the hole will not be burned by that. You saw that?
Yeah, Prabhuji, he was
Yes,
meaning that
Yeah.
the escape route will be that you have to go underground.
He survives who understands that the consumer of the wood and straw does not reach the dwellers. Consumers of the wood and straw means that is a fire, and does not reach the dwellers of a hole in the forest. Means he has to make a hole to underground and then go out, escape. So that's the meaning how it has been coming out. Yeah. He had also told the prince that the means of escape would be revealed to him. The learned Vidur then said that he who is self-controlled wins the sovereignty of the earth. Now can somebody tell who understood the meaning of this? What was the last statement Vidur had told them? What was the last statement Vidur told to Pandavas? I think I would have kept that as an exit question. Here you find the learned Vidur then said that he who is a self-controlled wins the sovereignty of the earth. Just imagine if the king who is lavishly enjoying the palace and he is not well guarded about the enemies and then completely drowned into intoxication of sense gratification. Very soon enemy will easily walk in and kill him off and take him over. Right? So Vidur is giving a warning to the Pandavas. Now, don't think that this is a palace for your enjoyment and losing your own self-control. Right? Especially the kings, they will have the powers, they will have the controls, and many ladies and the women will be at their call, and many fine foods, and then so much entertainment will be there. Right? So that's why Vidur has told them. One who is a self-control, one should not get carried away by that. Anybody knows the very famous episode about self-control? Some examples. Many famous examples are there about self-control.
That one in which some some children are called and given them some sweets like and told to wait a minute, then he will get
Okay, yeah,
more
good,
sweet.
good.
Marshmallow test, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, marshmallow.
Our Shubham Pro is a VC topper. I think he remembered exactly. Yesterday only I made that question for our GPL contest. Yeah, there
Yes, Prabhuji, I am in GPL also.
I am specifically asking about the scriptural example, like Joshit Prabhu shared Haridas Thakur, the self-control. Right? He did not succumb to the prostitute, although the opportunity was there from other side and nobody was there and things and all. But he did not sell himself off. Haridas Thakur. Like that, very famous examples for self-control.
Srila Prabhupada also.
In what regard? Yeah.
Means Prabhuji, he had gone to outside world where every bad things happen, and there he told.
Yes. Srila Prabhupada was in America, which is a hippie land. And so many boys, girls, and young boys, young girls, people are intoxicating and all. Prabhupada never ever succumbed to all these things. Yeah. Any other? All of you know the famous story now of the Shukadev Goswami. He was also tested by the king. That is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, I'm not sure, but it is there. Shukdev Goswami's life. So he was being tested with all gross, subtle, everything. He was asked to come through the palace where all the ladies and everything were standing to welcome him. But he never, of course, Bhagavatam says, right? As soon as he was born, he was walking through and there were ladies in the pond taking bath. And Shukdev Goswami was with the clothed only with the 4 directions. Nothing was on the body. But still he never ever, and the ladies also understood. He is a man of a character. He is a self-control. That is one. And then later he was been sent to the king's palace. So the king had kept sugar or things and all, but still he never ever dropped saliva out of his mouth or things. It's full controlled. Right, self-control. So it's very much important to understand these examples, self-control. So many times in our life also, we may not we may not be tested by so many things of like Haridas Thakur with the prostitute or things. We are already so grossly conditioned. So we have to be careful with our time, how we are controlling our time. Are we getting controlled by the time, losing ourselves with unnecessary things, or we are properly scheduled and planned and utilizing our time properly? For that also need a self-control. Like let's say family, they're doing many nice programs. Some house programs are going on. But you need not to be involved in that. That's all ladies and then the other something relatives and things. Your role is maybe just to sit there, do some, click the photo and then do some puja with the father, mother little bit and then finish. You're not supposed to be, and that your presence is not much needed also. Then we can save our time, come back, sit in a room, do some studies or read Prabhupada books, chant the rounds or things, or prepare your nice skills or activities, whatever you want to do. So otherwise then just so-called being with the relatives, then that's not the substantial. Or if some relatives are there, sit with them, read Krishna book or read Bhagavad Gita shlokas or things. They might be sporting with the mobiles or things or games or some things. But we should be like a Prahlad Maharaj, who made his demoniac classmates also chant Hare Krishna. So we can also chant and dance with the relatives. So that's a proper way of, that's why we need a self-control. When we go to the school, on the way, we see many shops or things and all. Why to keep our eyes open and don't take these things inside? We can put our eyes into the book, revise the things what you want before reaching to the school, or just recollect some shlokas or things so much we're hearing. So beauty is what? To the degree we control ourselves, to that degree we'll experience the joy, the happiness, the freedom over the time. But to the degree we lose ourselves now and succumb to the sense gratification, to that degree we become later more and more entangled. How? Somebody understood what we said?
Habit builds. Bad habit.
Later will become so much that without that I just cannot stay. I need those things to do. Like now, if we are habituated with the if we are losing ourselves for the habits of sports, games, watching movies and things and all like that, then later as the time grows, this will be our habit only. We just cannot give up that. Then where is the freedom then? Right. But now if we control ourselves, say no for bad things and invest ourselves cautiously into the good things, then later we'll be able to have our own freedom and control. We'll not ourselves let go just because everybody's going or things and all like that. We'll find that Krishna gives that strength inside, satisfaction and joy. So Vidura gave very good warning to Pandavas. The Duryodhana and army, they told, oh yes, you go back, go there, we have made a nice palace. We read, Dhritarashtra was telling, go have a nice time, enjoy the things and vacation. It's a very good place. So very nice, so kind my uncles are, so nice my brothers are, I'll go and enjoy. They're foolish, it would have been burnt and everything gone. But we know how Pandavas are so self-controlled and how Vidur also gave them the warning. Don't lose yourselves off. Famous episode, Arjuna had gone to the heavens and Urvashi had approached Arjuna. All of you also know that episode. How Arjuna kept himself. He says, no. Although Urvashi said in the heavens, these rules doesn't apply. But Arjuna said, you may be the heavenly lady, but for me, you are like my mother. This is not a good one. Hanuman, when he was going for a Lanka, right? So many obstacles in a sense of giving him comfort and entertainment and fights and ego tussles. But Hanuman dealt very, very confidently with the self-control. As he went in Lanka, also he saw Ravana lying down with many, many other ladies and all. But Hanuman was focused on the service to Lord Ram, immediately understood. Here cannot be Mother Sita. And I am not supposed to looking towards these things. And then he understood, Mother Sita cannot be here. She cannot just allow herself to with other men. So immediately Hanuman got that buddhi and he left from that place. So that's why we find self-control is the first and foremost. Titikshava, tolerance, and there also in that sequence it says Shama, Dama, control of mind, control of senses. These words are being used. So young age is the time for us to regulate. Rising early, sleeping early. When the citizens of Arnavat heard that the famous Pandava brothers were approaching their city, they came out in thousands to greet the princess. The people saw Yudhishthira leading his brothers like Indra leading the celestials. They worshipped and welcomed the princess and led them into their city to the accompaniment of trumpets, drums, and conches. Cheers filled the air as the brothers proceeded slowly along the road. Reaching the city's main concourse, they got down from their chariots and went first to meet the Brahmins. Then they met with the city officials, then the warriors, the tradespeople, and finally workers and servant classes. So how they saw, right? Everybody they greeted. After the greetings were over, the Pandavas were received as guests of one of the city's chief officials. Remembering Vidura's warning and unsure of what to expect, they remained there for 10 days. Then Purochana told them that their own residence was ready. He personally led the princess and Kunti to the house he had named the Blessed Dwelling. Is it a blessed dwelling or a cursed dwelling? Is it dangerous? As they entered the house, Yudhishthira said quietly to him, from the odors I detect, here it is evident that this house has been made of lac and other materials soaked in ghee and oil. See? So sharp with the senses. Somebody's a drunk, you ask him, he just cannot understand only anything. He cannot distinguish between a stool and a halwa. Prabhupada says, the hug. Because he's so much lost his senses himself. The Pandavas were so controlled, immediately they could detect. There is something wrong. Without doubt, Purochan intends to burn us to death in this place. It is just as Vidur told me. Duryodhana has obviously entrusted Purochan with the job of killing us. As soon as they entered, first entry, Yudhishthira detected with that. Bhim replied, "Then why should we live in this death trap? Let us return to where we have already been staying." Yudhishthira did not think Bhima's idea to be a wise one. If we let Purochan realize we suspect him, then he may try anything in order to kill us. See, that's why. Although Vidur also warned Yudhishthira before only, but they would have created a more trap things and then unknown things, and would have been a more fight. So better let us settle this trap, which we know what is going to come. Obviously, he is without scruples and is determined to do the will of the ruthless Duryodhana. We should not give him any indication that we are aware of his wicked intention. So, what happened further with Yudhishthira's entry and things, and how they, at what point the fire sets and how they come out, that we'll study in our next week. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So quickly, one exit question for you all. I hope you remembered where we stopped, so that next week the entry question I'll ask you again. Say, yeah. So, to whom Yudhishthira and Pandavas they greeted first when they entered into the city? What was the sequence? Which all how they? You have to write the answer in chat. Yudhishthira and Pandava brothers, when they were welcomed into the city of Arnavat, to whom all they greeted? What was the sequence mentioned? First and foremost, they greeted. Then the next to whom? Anyone? That's not right. They were later. Yeah. Purposefully, I not highlighted that point there because I wanted to just to see whether how many of you remember. Yeah, correct. So the answer is, yeah, what Divishpu has written, the Brahmins, right? Brahmins and Pujaris. Right? All of you know the famous detail when Pandavas were being tested by the Jarasandha. No. Who was he? Draupadi's marriage. It was, or somebody. They were in a disguise. Which episode it was? They said we are Brahmanas, and then the weapons were kept there, and then the things and all. Which story it is that? Which concept? I just missed out. So, anyways, the point is what? Where our interest is, to them we'll invest first. See, this is a matter of etiquette. Reaching the city's main concourse, they got down from their chariots and went first to meet Brahmins. Then they met the city officials, that is Kshatriyas, warriors, and then the Vaishyas, and then the Shudras. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. That was the point. So Brahmanas are considered the head of the society. Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the belly, and the Shudras are the legs. So everybody should be given a proper attention. So Yudhishthira Raja and everybody was welcome. So Brahmanas are the first whom we should offer respect. That's why as soon as we also come to the temple, right, first we offer pranam to all the Vaishnavas, and then in specific we go to Srila Prabhupada deity, offer Dandavat pranams, and then we greet the deities in the temple hall, and then we meet the Vaishnavas also, right? So that's the very important etiquette to be followed. So we see how Yudhishthira was giving attention to the Brahmins. Thank you all very much for joining. Let us end with the Vaishnava pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Okay.